Oh, yeah. I'm going to leave this up here for you. A little hashtag action. There we go. All right. So tonight we're going to continue on into postmodernism. And here's the disturbing thing, guys. We think of postmodernism and we think, man, that nasty old world, man, they're just gone postmodern. Yeah, you'd be right, too. We don't care about the world. The world's not the issue. The church is the issue. And guess where postmodernism is gone? Church. Into the church. And I'm not talking just a little bit, guys. I'm going to give you examples tonight, and you're going to go, oh, shoot. And you may even sit there and go, oh, holy cow, I've done that. I better keep my mouth shut. Yeah. So we want to address this. We gotta get it out. Remember, we talked about the truths, okay? This is really important. We have absolute truth, right? That was the important one. Then we had another couple. We had objective truth, subjective truth, relative truth. And you're going to see how they have somewhat of a hierarchical view. Now, John Arthur brought up a point during that first time that we talked about this. He kind of lumps two of them together. That's okay. I don't want you to, don't get hung up on that. The one thing I really want you to see here is this. This is critical. You cannot back up from that. And the moment you do, you've given ground to the devil. Okay? So we cannot do that. All right, let's define absolute truth. Truth that is true for all people, in all places, at all times, without exception, full stop. It says, if it is absolute, it cannot be false in any circumstance. God exists. That's absolute truth. Jesus rose from the dead. That's absolute truth. These claims, truth claims, are true for everyone or false for everyone. There's no in between. It can't be true for you and false for me. That's absolute truth. Now notice that this sits outside of individuals. It's not based on your individuality. Okay? Next one, objective truth. Truth that is true independently of what anyone believes about it. It says outside the human mind. It exists outside the human mind. It is mind independent. The earth orbits the sun. Water freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit at sea level. Jesus was crucified. These remain true even if no one believes them. Okay?
Good question.
Yes?
Why was Jesus rose on the dead?
That's a good one. Yep. And this kind of gets into the issue of combining two. Because did the previous one, did absolute truth exist outside of the mind?
Yes.
Yeah. It does. God exists. Is that outside the human mind? Is it mind independent? Yep.
Yes.
Sure is. Okay? So, this absolute truth, they kind of go together, right? Here we go. How about this one? Subjective truth. Truth that depends on what?
Personal experience, feelings, or perspective.
Now this is where postmodernists love to live. People love to walk up and confront you and say, that's true for you, but not for me. the woman that is contemplating abortion could live here. My body, my choice. My truth. Go ahead.
I can't. You're partially correct,
Where?
but I want to say I don't think. I think there are some things that are objectively true that you're lumping into subjective.
Go ahead.
So someone can objectively have a feeling, but their feeling is subjective. So they objectively have a feeling, but the feeling is subject to their in some sense to their motivations. But music, for example, there is music that is objectively beautiful because beauty has an objective standard.
Okay.
And what I mean by that, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, is bull.
I agree.
It is
Totally
not
agree.
correct.
Totally agree.
The closer you are to your epigenetic potential, and they've shown it's the golden ratio that's in the eyes and the face. When that symmetry is there, everyone will naturally say this person A is more beautiful than B if A's symmetry is set. We all will objectively say Bach, Beethoven. There's no one. You will find no one in their heart of hearts who can say, "Oh, that music is awful." They might say, "Not my type. It's too sophisticated, too snob, too posh."
Okay.
But they won't say it's awful. Now, the subjective truth is what they think about it.
Which is based on?
Opinion. And again, there's an objective
You think there's
Truth.
objective truth there?
that they have the experience. It's important to parse that. Now, is it objectively true that you feel a little bit like you don't agree with me right now?
Yeah.
So that is objectively true in the year of our
No,
Lord,
that's
2026.
subjectively.
Objectively, in the year of our Lord, at 6:42, February 4th, 2026,
Yes.
Charlie Pomeroy disagrees with John Arthur Fiala. That is an objective truth. Now the
But what is he disagreeing on?
he's disagreeing on whether or not the argument makes sense. What I'm saying is your opinion is there's something a little bit more. You got to be careful when you're extracting this. Otherwise, you can quickly lose someone. You have to parse that. Otherwise, if you don't parse it, you're going to lose.
How do I parse that?
So your subjective mood, or your pain scale. So in the medical, again, I'm coming from like your SOAP documentation.
Right.
Your subjective, objective, patient history, like those are things that you take in. Subjective, what's your pain? A scale of 1 to 10.
Okay.
That's a subjective measurement, right? You can't.
I would agree with that.
You can't say, but it's objectively true that they're feeling pain.
Okay. I'm not sure I disagree with you as much as you think. I'm not sure
saying-
you disagree with me as much as you think.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm saying make sure that you delineate that really carefully. Because feelings, you objectively have feelings. Those feelings may not be objectively correct.
I'm sorry, what did you just say?
Those feelings may not be objectively correct.
Oh, so they're not true.
The assumptions you make based on your feelings. Your feelings are something that exist. The decisions you make from those may not be rational or true.
Are you trying to drag me in the swamp?
No. I'm trying to articulate that there is a difference, and a couple of times Hernandez has said this, and you've said this. There's there is an important delineation.
I'm not sure you've made the case for me. I won't disagree with you. I'm going to
So-
give you the benefit of the doubt there, but
Depends on personal. Yeah.
here's the bottom line. Let's do this. Let's
I
be
hate that
careful.
definition.
Let's be careful about hammering the
Definition of death.
yeah, because in the grand scheme, when we're talking about postmodernists, where does the postmodernist live?
Well, absolute truth is subjective.
Feelings. Nothing more than feelings.
But it's important to be able to articulate the difference when they
I
bring up.
don't disagree with
when they
that.
bring up feelings. You have to be able to say, yes, it's true that you have those feelings. Your conclusion that you've made from those feelings is not.
That is the best way you could have put that.
Trying to actually like tease that out, because how do you articulate that?
Yep.
Because I don't like the way it's articulated here. With all due respect,
It's all right.
I don't think it covers a very important point in the debate,
So,
and I'm not sure how to define it exactly.
and that I get, this is tough.
It's hard.
It's very hard.
I'm not picking on anything. I'm just saying it leaves that room. open.
So what you're doing is you've got your three lights, and you're going, okay, it's been green light, green, whoa, we just hit the yellow. That's what you're doing.
Because if you're going to build someone's foundation on this, you want to make sure that they have the capacity to debate it. Because whenever you're discussing something with someone, they'll talk about their feelings.
Okay, so which one of these truths should I rip out?
Well, I'd say you want to go with the objective truth. And
I don't want to go with absolute?
No, I'm saying you want to go with the objective truth, because going to universals is going to be something that's hard. You can't.
Okay, but what one do I get rid of?
Well, you get rid of the fourth. Subjective truth does exist, but it is not. It's not as important as they make it out to be, at all.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's a subset of. Yeah, relative truth. The fourth one is the one that you cannot, like, it does not belong in any worldview.
You don't think this one does?
Yeah, relative truth, absolutely not. Of course not. But subjective truth, it is true that they have made those assumptions, and some of them, yes, some of them are lying, right?
See, I would make the case this is probably more important than the subjective. Because
What do you
this,
mean more important?
well,
than that?
if I were going to remove one, I would remove the subjective.
Oh, I agree with you. I'd say, you would say remove subjective.
And use relative as a reference. Because what's morally right depends on your culture. Do we have that in America? Absolutely. People believe,
Well, they
that's the whole
believe
thing
that.
behind you have your truth, I have my truth.
So you and I are talking in two different spaces right now.
Okay.
Why are you saying? I'm saying the three real ones are absolute, objective, and subjective has a reality, but it's poorly defined in almost every context it's brought up. Relative truth is the falsehood, and it's the one that they're working in.
Yes. Yes.
But subjective truth, don't throw that out, because I don't think you can. I think it is.
So there are 4 different types of truth.
I didn't say there weren't. I said there's 3
Oh,
types.
I'm totally misunderstanding you.
There are 3 types of truth, and then there's a 4th made-up imaginary one. That's relative. But when
I
you're
get what you're
defining
saying.
but when you're defining subjective truth, it's the definition is close. I feel like it leaves a gap that's really.
Friday night when we go out afterwards, we will sit down with Eric at Chick-fil-A and
Because
have
these are
our shake.
his. Right?
Well, yeah,
yeah.
these ones are.
We're going out after.
Yeah. And I mean, look, far be it from me to say something like against or out of turn against Hernandez's structure, but I am also saying I don't feel like it's a strong definition,
I'm okay with that.
because it's hard.
It is hard.
It's hard. I'm not pretending it's easy.
And guys, when you're dealing with people, you're not going to have a tough time with this. John Arthur and I are very similar in that we like to define our words. Because when you're speaking with someone, guess what you better do?
Define your words.
You better define them, because if you don't, they will.
Yeah.
And you lose every time.
So you have to know what
You got to know where you're going to stand. That's
because
right.
again, if you have forgive me, if you have a effeminate debater, whether that's a woman who's in her feelings or a man who's in his feelings, it's just the feelings. There's no logic. They're gonna use their feelings. You say, look, I understand that you feel that way, and it's
Yeah.
true that you have those feelings.
Yeah.
But objectively, you've made the wrong decision based on your subjective truth, and you're falling into relative truth.
Yep.
And you have to be able to like parse that. It's not that there's two real and two not. There's three real. If you
You're
find-
saying the fourth one is not a truth at all.
it's not a truth. It's a definition that they use.
Yes.
and it ought to be defined that
But
way,
do we even hear Christians use the term or phrase relative truth?
unfortunately.
Yep. So this is a little chart that kind of helps you summarize that. Let's go here. Why this matters. Modern culture often says truth is subjective. But what they really mean is truth is relative, and that's where John Arthur's going. And that is true. That is exactly what they do. That is exactly what they do. Note the following. There is no absolute truth. Problem is, that's an absolute truth claim,
Is that absolutely true?
so it collapses under its own logic.
Or lack thereof.
Everybody does see this, yes?
Yeah, I do see that.
I don't want to gloss over
That's
this.
very clear to me.
Ask them.
It's like saying I am not perfect or I am a liar. If you are not a liar, then you become a liar. If you're not perfect.
There you
if you're not
go.
perfect, you become not perfect.
Epistemology for postmodernism. Okay, by way of analogy, suppose a dog is sitting next to a tree with two people observing from opposite ends. One person will say there's a dog to the right of the tree, whereas the other person will say there's a dog to the left of the tree. Given what we have, two different answers, which perspective is correct?
Both.
They are both right. There is a dog to the left and a dog to the right, because these truths are grounded what?
In perspective.
In individual subject. It's an individual, their lens. You don't like?
So many things conflated here, but keep going.
Okay.
There-
All right.
There's about 3 fallacies in there, but just
In that?
You look like you're about to blow.
Where's the fallacy?
it's in the definitions that he's using. Just keep going.
Okay.
I'm not going to bog you. I'm not going to bog
Okay.
you.
All right.
But if you try to use this logic, just the way he said it, you'll have a problem with an
Now you've got me.
Yeah, I'm curious.
I'm going
too.
back.
I'm curious.
Okay, like again, I don't want to nitpick because the guy's doing good work. But first off, what is epistemology? His definition for epistemology is,
Beliefs summarized into one word.
yeah, that's not epistemology.
So what is epistemology to
So
you?
let me read the classical definition of epistemology.
The
From my
1828
favorite, please.
The 1828.
So whenever you're going into that, it's focused on origin. It's the study of origin. So the epistemological argument for God is the partly from the unmoved mover, but that's also kind of a Venn diagram with the ontological argument, the argument from being. So the universe is, therefore, it had an unmoved mover and a creator. That's the ontological. But the epistemological argument is that there's the fact that you have knowledge, the fact that there is an origin of knowledge. So it's the argument here, the epistemology. I feel like that term is being very loosely used here. I appreciate why he's using it, but again, both answers are actually incorrect because they don't, when pitted against each other, because they don't provide information. They're incomplete. I shouldn't say incorrect. They're incomplete information. So it's not that both are true if they're pitted as two different truth claims. They're both true because they're both dealing with incomplete and they're not mutually exclusive.
So what do you mean by incomplete? What's the complete information?
Well, it would be like the dog is to the north of the tree because there's no reference point. because there's no reference point for left or right, it's incomplete information.
I don't need one.
But if you're making a truth claim that the other person is wrong, that's where so
He's
that's what
making
I'm saying.
he's making the statement
I know.
that both views are seen as right.
Correct.
Because so here's a good example.
It's a bad analogy.
Okay, well, we'll call it that.
It's a bad analogy.
I'm okay with it because so like Luke's sitting here in front of the pole. Okay. So is Luke in front of the pole or behind the pole?
Right.
Well, I've got to vote for he's to the right. You would say he's behind. I would say he's in front. Am I right?
I'd have to say that he is to the east of the pole.
Am I right?
He's to the east of the pole.
He's in front of the pole.
because
He's to the. He just said he's to the right of the pole.
Is north
Yeah, I know.
objectively that way then?
Oh.
That was good. That was
Yeah.
good.
No,
But-
but that's what I'm saying. You can't say that one is incorrect and the other one is correct, and he's using them as two different. And epistemology is the study of belief or origin, and so it's again. I'm just saying, be careful using this particular analogy. That's all I'm saying.
Let's see here.
Now, I understand the conclusion that he's making is that the postmodernist is saying truth is relative because of.
Yes.
But they would also say that you have the moral agency. Yeah.
I have the moral agency.
Agency to decide what's true. And so it goes further than just a perspective. It goes from a set of perspectives and combined with moral agency, because now they've lumped in it's a woman's right to kill her child because that child is impinging upon her agency. Right?
So, I've been thinking about that this week. Isn't that kind of like female supremacy?
Yeah. Yeah. There's
Yeah,
only
I
one.
heard that the white supremacist, and I thought, when a woman can make the claim that her body, that her decision is the life of another, is that not female supremacy?
That's a might makes right argument.
As a matter of fact, I think
Yes.
it can actually be argued in many different realms.
So you keep referencing origin. Are you talking the person origin?
No. So epistemology is the study of beliefs, origins, and the root origin of knowledge and information.
Okay. So Eric would summarize it as beliefs. Period. That's where he's coming from. Now, does he go into more detail in the book? Yes. You and him really need to sit down.
Because I don't. That's not the classical definition of epistemology.
Well, here's what I've got.
Yeah.
This is Webster's 1828, which is
Go for it.
that's second gospel to me. The theory or science of the method or grounds of knowledge.
Yeah. Study of nature, knowledge, philosophy. It's and the origin and the grounding basis for it. So, and again, that's the classic definition, more or less,
Yeah.
what you just read. It's not what we're using here. So it's just that's why it's tweaking my
that
brain.
So what did the slide title? What was the slide title?
Yeah,
The epistemology of
postmodern.
postmodernism.
I agree.
Yeah.
I know.
That's
But summarizing as beliefs. That's why you're getting a face from me. It's an incorrect definition. But now,
so
if you
give
want
me
to
give me
redefine-
one word that you would use.
Study.
No,
No.
it's not study. It's one word.
Well, you can't define anything with one word. It's a synonym then. It's a synonym, and by definition, you're going to fail with the synonym.
It's okay.
The study of nature, the study of, or the origin of nature, and
Yep.
natural philosophy, and information
Okay.
is epistemology.
How many knew what epistemology was before they stepped in here tonight?
I'm not sure I understand it now.
Yeah, me too.
Let's break it down, because let's see.
It's not. Look, guys, it's not as difficult as you might think it is.
With my brain right now, I think it is.
So the word episteme is knowledge or acquaintance, and logos is the study or reason of, is study of knowledge.
Hang on here, guys.
Really specifically, when you're looking at the classical definition, it was what the Greeks were looking at for the origin of logic, the origin of knowledge. And so when they made an epistemological argument, they're making an argument from logic, not belief, from understanding of. So that's why I was squinting.
What? I'm sorry. I was.
No. So the episteme is the Greek word for logic, knowledge. Let's see, I'm trying to pull it up here again. It's the study of. Episteme means knowledge or understanding or skilled experience. So Plato specifically went into, when he was looking at doxology versus epistemology, Plato said doxology is the study of opinion. So closer to like subjective truth, where epistemology is the study or the love or the study of reason, of the origin and structure of knowledge. So saying belief is like an immediate that's if you use that term, what most people would say is the opposite of belief in some sort of vague extraction, but more in the sense of this is philosophy, this is knowledge, this is skill, the study of skill, the reason of skilled understanding. And so the epistemological argument is a logical argument for God based on the origin of logic. The ontological is the one from being, and he also uses ontology in a way that I've never seen anyone else use, including all of the Greek philosophers who spoke Greek.
But remember,
I'm not trying to dog. You asked. I said let's move on. You got to hit the button first. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know you're going to the title of the slide, the epistemology of postmodernism. But I would actually say the epistemology of postmodernism is I am God, or I am a God. I get to choose what is true. It's further than just a perspective shift.
I think that's more the postmodernists. That's going
Postmodern was pretty
so
far down that way.
my question for you would be, well, I'll hold up on that.
I'm sorry, I didn't. That's why I said let's just keep going. That's why I was squinting.
Yeah, but
it's
you open
it's a bad definition.
You can't squint. If you're going to squint, you gotta articulate.
Hey, if you want to have the debate, epistemology is not.
No, epistemology of.
I understand postmodernism. I understand, but I would also just go ahead.
I'm telling you, we got to have coffee with him.
We got to have coffee with him.
Yeah.
We got to have a coffee with him.
Analogy
Can't
for
wait to watch
postmodernism continued. Although there is only one dog, there are two truths, each relative to the person, hence relativism. In the same way, says the postmodernist, no one is ever right or wrong because, as demonstrated in the illustration, all truth is relative and dependent on each person's perspective. So what would they say about God? Well, that's how you view God. I don't view God that way. Oh, has anybody heard of people that are deconstructing their faith?
Everyone with their 5 minutes of deconstruction fame. Yeah.
Yep.
It's become the hipsters'
Absolutely.
sport.
Think of it this way: to further grasp this, consider the difference between objective truth and subjective truth. Objective truth is independent of human thought or opinion, whereas subjective truth is grounded in and relative to the person. For example, the statement Christianity is true has been presented as objectively true, meaning its truth is not grounded in my state of mind, emotions, or personal preferences. By contrast, the statement Taco Bell is the best food around, or should I put in there little squeezers. Oh, I can't believe I said that. Is
the
manna sent
tastiest
from
cardboard
heaven?
around.
Is subjective truth grounded in me, the subject? That goes back to what John Arthur was talking about when he was talking about the music.
I'd say it's almost a relative truth claim, though, as opposed to a subjective truth claim. I'd say the taxonomy's wrong.
Okay,
Just,
we got to have coffee with him.
again,
Um,
words are important since we're defining
They
them.
are.
Since we're
And-
defining them, words are important.
Yeah,
That's a relative truth claim. That's saying, I believe that it's the best in the world. It's not a subjective truth claim in that I think Taco Bell is the best. I like Taco Bell more than anything else. Because that's a subjective claim and that could change. I'm saying it's the best in the world if you actually believe it and it's not hyperbole.
you got that shovel out just digging away, aren't you? Taco Bell. That's not even a step up from Little Caesars.
Oh, I'm not saying that. I'm using your argument.
Okay. Within the postmodern worldview, there is no objective absolute truth, and for some, even if there was, one could never know it. Skepticism. No one possesses the absolute truth, and thus any claims to objective truth are rejected because only subjective truth can exist. Yup. Yup. The ontology.
And ontology is what again?
Go ahead, read it. Webster's 1828. I've got the word in my mind. I want to hear you read it.
So what's ology?
Study of.
Good.
Okay.
Definition 1828. That part of the science of metaphysics which investigates and explains the nature and essence of all beings, their qualities and attributes.
So can
He
you guess
would
what
use-
onto?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Can you guess what the Greek word means? Ontos?
Ontos.
We made an ontological argument about good versus evil last week. Something, if it's good, it has what? Ontos.
Essence?
Being.
Being.
Exists.
Being. It exists. If it's
Exists.
not good,
The study
It
of
does not have
existence.
There we go.
it's a study of existence.
That's what I was trying to tell you. Existence. Yep. Okay? So, and by the way, you didn't even have to look it up.
You gotta go. You can unplug it. That'll do it too.
Make sure we're good. Yep. There we go. Yep, right there. So now consider how a worldview's answer to the ontological question, what exists, is directly correlated with its answer to the epistemic, there we go, question, what can be known as true? On this view, if a person does not believe Christianity is true, then for that person the Christian God does not exist. This is why, guys, this is why Eric starts his talks out and he says, why are you a Christian? And we give all these different answers. And none of them stand. Only one stands. Because Christianity is true. What is true about Christianity? This is where all arguments, if you follow them to their pathological end, they all end here. All of them. That's why you hear me say that if Jesus is who he said he was, it has, and I used this line on some coworkers here this last week, if Jesus is who he said he was, that has severe ramifications for us in our life. And it does. Do I need the Bible to prove this?
No.
Nope. It helps,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't need it. Do I have other world people that have said the cross happened? Do I have other world people that have said the resurrection happens? Yep, sure do. It's true. And that's why you can't walk around and say, well, Christianity's true because I got my Bible.
I don't believe in your Bible.
Now we got a problem.
It doesn't change the fact that it's still true.
That's exactly right.
They can say whatever they want to. Truth is truth. Truth is just.
There you go. Now watch this. You just nailed it. What exists? If Jesus conquered the grave and he said, I and the Father are one, now you can see why I said it has severe ramifications for us. And it does. It absolutely does. The concerning epistemic question, truth is merely subjective or relative to the person, and concerning the ontological question, reality is something determined by the individual. This is why we have people going crazy. And please don't misunderstand me. I'm not being condemning. But we've got people that do not understand reality. And reality is not how they're seeing things. Reality is how God sees things.
That's true reality. It's true reality. And
Yes.
the reason we're in the situation we're in is people don't live in a true reality. And they've been accustomed to not live in a true reality.
The church has been affected. To demonstrate this with postmodernism, consider the implicit mentality behind some of our practices for evangelism and Bible study. Barna Group recently published an article with the headline, Almost Half of Practicing Christian Millennials. That's you guys. Newsflash. Some of you guys, right on the edge, say evangelism is wrong.
Give me a book, chapter, and verse on that, please.
I'll get it. I'll get it.
That evangelism is wrong.
Oh, well, that's the dialogue you're going to have with your fellow, who?
Yeah.
Practicing Christian
29,
millennials.
45-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to pressure them, you know.
That's it. Oh, you're nailing it. You're nailing the first couple slides.
I mean, all ways lead to heaven.
Yeah. Let me do this first. This age group, 29 to 45. Who do you think is forming the next generation of beliefs?
Unfortunately.
In the kids. In the kids.
Well, all of that came from the seminaries
Yes.
adopting the Jesuit thought from
Yep.
the 1800s, and it's just crept in, and even the Baptist seminaries
Yes.
have lost it.
Guys, that right there is postmodernism in the church. We haven't even talked about getting into the pulpit or the Bible. We're only talking about evangelism.
Yeah.
We're not even talking about Bible study yet. I'll get there. Hang tight.
So,
Yep.
question. In Revelation, when God talks about great calling away of the church.
Uh-huh.
Doing this
Yep.
right here.
Yep. Yep.
If you interpret that verse that way. But yeah, there's some interesting,
Duly noted.
not to dive in.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying there. Yep. A lot of people use it.
Yeah.
And yes.
Yeah.
The study was conducted among 4 generational groups, millennials, Gen X, boomers, and elders, surveying their opinions on evangelism. At the outset, it states, among the major findings in this report is the revelation that Christian millennials feel especially conflicted about evangelism, and in fact, almost half believe it is wrong to share their faith. My question is, why?
They don't want to be confronted. They don't want to have to.
Well, you don't have to just say it out loud. I mean, that's the truth. But what they're going to say is, oh, I don't want to hurt their feelings. It's like,
That's
why
That's
don't
it.
you want to hurt their feelings?
And why is it hurting their feelings?
Yeah.
Why does it hurt their feelings?
'Cause they
Higher
can't
than any
handle
other
the truth.
generation, 73% of millennials said they felt gifted and equipped to share their faith with other people. Nevertheless, roughly half felt it was wrong to share one's personal beliefs with someone of a different faith in hopes that they will one day share the same faith. That is clearly showing Christian millennials do not believe that hell is real or that Christianity is really true at all.
100%.
Go ahead, prove me wrong. That's in the church. That's not the world. That's the church. Of all the people that should be doing the thermostat instead of the thermometer, we should be the thermostats. I should be influencing you, world, that this is wrong.
Seeker-friendly churches, man.
Uh-huh.
They're
Yep.
so successful.
Yeah. Yeah.
At getting people in the door, discipling.
Yeah. Yeah. At raising baby Christians who don't know how to
So,
disciple.
guys, my question is this. What does the Bible really say?
Or disciple.
Paul doesn't say, woe is me if I make people uncomfortable. That's not what he said. He said this. He said, woe is me if I preach not the gospel. Here's the problem, guys. And this is why you should never, ever, ever tell people that life will be good when you become a Christian.
Yeah.
Because I have a question for you. Is the cross offensive?
Yes.
Yes.
Some people.
Well, it's offensive to me. I don't want to cross.
And that was my next question. Does Jesus not say that we should take up our cross daily?
It's not a pleasant thing.
It's not. And yet, as Christians, when we want to lead somebody to Christ, what are we looking at?
Come join our church. We got free daycare for your kids.
Coffee and donuts in the morning.
Even better. Watch this.
I like coffee.
So when practicing Christians say evangelism is wrong, what they're really saying is one of the three things. Truth is negotiable. Truth must submit to emotional comfort. Truth is personal preference, not objective reality. That's what they're saying.
So I disagree.
No?
Where?
I'd say some believe that. Others just don't care.
Well,
I just think
I suppose we
90
could have put that up as number 4 there.
I think 90% of them just don't care enough.
So is,
I'm gonna
Is
say that
Christian-
goes to emotional comfort though. Because if I care, it's gonna take me out of my comfort zone.
Well, but again, I've heard people in this church say, I don't care enough to go talk about so and so, to certain people. There's like, they're not worth the effort to try to evangelize. It's like, who died and made you God that
Yep.
you were going to be able to say who is and isn't worth evangelizing? It's like, and the reason why they said that is the context was some people are difficult to speak to.
sure.
And it's like, yeah, you just don't care that much.
Still learn how to speak to them.
We have to work through,
It's an obedience issue for most people.
Yep.
I would actually say. I would say that a lot of there's like 4% that actually have a biblical worldview of evangelicals, or that might include Catholics too. It's like 4% have a biblical worldview in America. Of those 4%, probably, I don't know, I'm making this up, 2% don't care enough. Like they're not obedient enough to even desire to do it.
so is Christianity really real to them?
I would say it still is, but look at was Was Christianity really real to Jonah? It was very real to Jonah. He didn't care about those people. He wasn't obedient.
Oh, no, 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 no. I would disagree there.
If anything, he hoped.
He didn't
hoped.
get gung-ho until he had that wonderful little experience.
Well,
He wanted to avoid that. He wanted to avoid Nineveh
that's
at
what
all
I'm saying.
costs.
That's what I'm saying. It's a lack of obedience. It's an
I
obstinate.
can't disagree with that.
It's an obstinate lack of obedience, or even worse, a hatred for the people. And it's something that all of us at some point, on
Have
some
faced.
level,
Yep.
have been guilty of, on some level.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so I would also add a lack of, just purely lack of obedience.
Good point. Couldn't we say it treats emotional offense as a greater evil than eternal separation from God?
Some people, yeah.
Social harmony is more sacred than repentance? Silence is love? We've talked about that.
Most of that's just a front for not being obedient and not caring.
Good verse. If Christianity were true, then why would a person allow themselves to be moved off of it just so someone else can feel good? This leads to serious questions. Why do roughly half of millennials feel it's wrong to share their faith? Number two, how is sharing their faith defined? And why do they feel gifted and equipped to share their faith with others? That's an interesting look. How can an entire generation feel that a person coming to know Jesus is the best thing that could ever happen to them, and yet simultaneously feel it's wrong to share one's personal beliefs with someone of a different faith in hopes that they will one day share the same faith? It makes no sense. So let's take a look at question one. Sharing the gospel today is made harder by an overall cultural resistance to conversations that highlight people's differences, and that evangelism is difficult in a world of you do you and don't criticize anyone's life choices, and emotivism, the feelings first priority that our culture makes a way of life. Moreover, 3 out of 5 Christian millennials believe that people today are more likely than in the past to take offense if they share their faith. So my question for you would be this. Do you think it's more difficult to share your faith with people today? If so, why?
More difficult than when?
5, 10 years ago. Why is it difficult to share your faith?
When was this written?
What's that?
When was this written?
This was written 3, 4 years ago. Yep.
The book was?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If I can add something.
Mm-hmm.
My experience as a nurse, when I first started nursing, talking about your faith was actually pretty open, with patients and whatnot. The last few years in my nursing, hospitals took the policy of you weren't really allowed to share your personal beliefs and faith unless the patient asked.
Mm-hmm.
So that took away a lot of the opportunity to just bring it up.
And I can see why that would be a policy.
Mm-hmm.
Some people have abused it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want a Buddhist nagging me on my deathbed.
Right? Yep. Yep.
But I would actually say it's gotten easier.
To me, so it's like this.
It's gotten easier than 2008, 2012.
Okay?
Because again, everyone, half this room has a much shorter look back window,
Right.
right?
Yep. Yep.
but I love 2026.
I think
wouldn't-
this year is a great year.
I wouldn't live in it any other time because this is the easiest time to share. Real quickly, you can find out where people are, and they say, "Oh, you're pro-life. You hate women. You hate babies." How do you think that makes the baby feel? You could immediately, well, the woman's rights are impinged on. Oh, so you're going to impinge on the baby's rights? Because it's so clear and the arguments have fleshed so far out.
Yes.
You're able to just go, no, you're just a monster. Let me ask you a question. Would you kill the baby at 2 if there was no other way? You were on a desert island and the baby was impinging on your rights. It's not viable. Would you kill the baby? Well, that's monstrous. Would you kill the baby? With no legal ramifications, would you kill it? Yes. Okay. You're an evil,
Yep.
you're an evil human. So you can move on. But if they say, well, wait a minute, no.
Now we
Let's
can talk.
have a conversation.
Now we can
It's a
talk.
lot easier because you've got these women who are blue-haired feminists with nose rings to the point where women with nose rings, a lot of them are taking them out. A lot of them are not dyeing their hair anymore because they've seen how crazy it gets, right? So just using that one slice as an example,
Sure. Yep. Yep.
I'm happy I don't live in the 70s. It's so easy to be able to just say, oh, which side are you on?
You didn't have apologetics like you have today. We may have had people who did apologetics.
Didn't
But
have
back
to.
then, it was just, 2 people shouldn't live together, and it was accepted 2 people shouldn't live together. It was just an accepted thing, and it's not anymore. And when you didn't know how to argue why it shouldn't be, you eventually lose the ground.
Here's a hot take. I think people are better prepared to meet their maker today than they were in the 70s. One way or the other. In the West, I think they're better prepared one way or the other. They have informed consent now. There's a lot of people that went through the 70s and 80s and they had no idea what they really believed and they didn't care.
I'm gonna say that's true.
And they just didn't care. It's like, oh yeah, sure, marriage is between a man and a woman. That gay stuff is weird. Now, we've seen what happens. You allow homosexual behavior, they start to do it to the children. And once you sexualize children, if they can consent to have their genitals mutilated, can't you just have sex with them? Oh, if you can have sex with children, you've broken the man-woman dynamic, you can have sex with dogs. And then, of course, what's the difference between a human corpse if it's just 9 minutes warm? You go down that hole, and we're close. You think I'm exaggerating?
No, we're there.
We had the bubonic plague hit our shores. I think it was 2015, because they were exhuming bodies during the Day of the Dead. I'm not going to say a lot more. We're there.
Yep.
And people have all the informed consent for their spiritual well-being you possibly could have.
Yep. Yep.
I like it. That's good. It's good to have.
You keep going here. Question 2. How was sharing their faith defined, and why do they feel gifted and equipped to share their faith with others? It seems that most people today, especially those in my generation, Eric's referring to himself, define evangelism as merely sharing my personal experience and testimony with others. As alluded to in the first chapter, this pitches the gospel as a means of achieving gratification and self-fulfillment, making the person and their felt desires, not the truth of the gospel,
Interesting.
the focus and center of attention. To an outsider, this approach may sound like we're saying, look how good God gave me a happy life and made me a good person.
I like where he's going with that. Smart.
And watch where he ends up.
Mm-hmm.
Become a Christian to have a great life and be happy too.
So why is it wrong if that's their if that's their
If that's their
understanding?
that's what they've been pitched.
Why is it wrong for me to share how I become happy in a great life as a Christian? It's a question for the floor.
Oh wait, I know how I'd answer, but go ahead.
Say it again.
If this is the evangelical millennials worldview, that I feel gifted to share with Ryan how Jesus has changed my life and made me happy, but Ryan's a Buddhist. Why would that be a moral conflict for this population? Why would that be a moral bad in their worldview, in their mindset?
Well, then they can't have a true faith that Jesus Christ is the only way to heaven. It must be that they have an underlying thing that there's multiple ways to heaven.
So multiple ways to heaven. I think it's worse than that. I think it's significantly worse than that. Because that might be how some people view it. I think it's more insidious for a larger portion of them. Why would it be wrong if I'm saying, hey, become a Christian and you'll be happy too, like me, to the Buddhist? I feel a moral guilt about that. Why would I feel a moral guilt? What does the Buddhist have?
Hope. Not even. But that's what they hinged on.
They have a hope. They have a faith. They have something that makes them happy too. It's not even as deep as all paths go to heaven. It's this utilitarianism of I'm going to break their worldview. Poor puppy. I just destroyed their worldview, their little life. I uprooted them. Poor them.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even they're going to go to heaven or hell. It's like even more myopic, even more self-focused. It's I will be the cause of their frustration, and I don't want to be. And I also don't want to take responsibility for leading them through it.
You've really made yourself God in the situation.
So at work, just about everybody except for one would say that they're a born-again Christian at work. Now, I can't tell you whether they are or they're not. But if you've heard me speak, you've heard the gospel. Okay? And sometimes they ask biblical questions, and they all know, I make it very clear, I have a biblical worldview, so this is how I see things. But I thought it was interesting the other day, because this woman made a comment about, I just can't be I just can't do that. That's one of her comments. But the other day, we were in work, and I was working on a spreadsheet, and I got frustrated. I went, oh, shoot. And she goes, what? Did you just cuss? I said, no. I said, oh, shoot. And she goes, okay. She goes, we were worried. She goes, one thing I still hang my hat on, Nikki, is that you don't cuss. And so I thought to myself, that's very interesting. What is she looking for?
Some sort of
Validation.
symbol.
Yep.
Some sort of symbol of Christ.
Yeah, it was just very interesting that it was a big deal that I didn't cuss.
She's
What
looking
is-
for a reason to find fault with you.
No, I don't think it in a negative way. I think it was,
No, I
Is
mean
it-
as a Christian.
no, I think she wanted to know,
Is there some hope that Christianity is actually true?
yes, I think it was more in that angle.
I don't really want to commit to it right now, but there are still good things in this world. There's something wholesome out there, and that's Nikki, and not me. No.
I don't measure up.
I'll get that right some other time. But at least Nikki, I can someday be like Nikki.
Mm-hmm. Guys, when you have conversations with others about Christianity, do yourself a favor and do them a favor. Make sure it's centered on Christ
And not your feelings.
and not your feelings.
And not your testimony.
Thank you.
Take every opportunity. I've screwed this up. Where it's like,
We all have.
you sit there and someone goes, oh my gosh, you do great work. Sometimes I remember, I'm like, you know what? God tells us to work hard, do good to all of those, and do
Yep.
it as unto the Lord. Sometimes I say, thank you. And then 3 seconds later I go, oof. Could have used that opportunity. Dang it.
Think about those that have deconstructed their faith. What do they usually start out saying? I'm so much happier now. As if our faith was based on happiness. If the gospel was pitched to them that way, become a Christian to have a great life and be happy too, and they one day find themselves not happy, wouldn't it seem reasonable that they would go looking for a different worldview?
Even worse, what if they're already happy? Quote unquote.
Boy, you've just screwed up their world.
Yeah, I'm already happy if that works for you. Cool.
Do you remember that guy that we had a clip on our podcast? He deconstructed his faith. He talked about his parents were Christians, and so I watched a clip from him on another podcast, and he was trying to prove the point that Jesus made it clear that Christians were not to be involved in politics. And the guy who was doing the podcast, isn't it funny people who don't believe in Christ try to teach you what Christ said? They don't believe in Christ, but they're going to teach you what Christ said, and then they expect you to believe that you as a Christian should be following Christ's words that says you don't belong in politics.
By the way, the Sanhedrin was the politics of the day. So
It sure was.
Just drop that one in the don't care, you're wrong bin. I know more than you. Ron Swanson.
It may be that for most millennials surveyed in this study, being gifted and equipped to share my faith meant that I know how to share my personal experiences and beliefs with others. So if sharing my faith means that I talk about myself, then sure, I know of no millennial who doesn't feel gifted and equipped to do this. If this is the case, we have an answer to the second question. Sure do. Talk about me. Concerning personal testimonies, given the bigger picture, ask yourself this: would Christianity still be true even if I didn't have a personal testimony?
Yes.
Yes. Your testimony doesn't make Christ true. Doesn't make Christianity.
So should I really be centering Christianity and trying to evangelize somebody with my own personal testimony? Wouldn't do that.
I have a question.
You'll need to wait. If your answer is yes, then why? Whatever the answer, would it not be best to start your evangelistic approach with that? Mrs. P,
The new dude in a rude mood.
that's a good one. That's a good
What
one.
did Jesus tell him? What did he tell him after he was delivered from those demons?
Go ahead, Mrs. Palmer. You're doing good. You're on a roll.
Go back home.
And?
Share what has been
Ah,
done for you.
okay. What about it?
I think that the power of here was demon possessed, and now he's in his right mind.
And you think the testimony itself is enough?
No,
No, it's not.
I think what it
Who
shows.
did he have to share?
Christ, Jesus.
Period.
Christ.
Well, he also, the thing is he also got to share the miracle. And so he came with evidence. And
Agreed.
By definition, he was equipped with the evidence because of who he was. That's the only time where I think a testimony is valuable, is where you have evidence and you're sharing Christ. It can't just be your testimony, because
Correct.
It's
The
it's
Buddhism
oratory
and-
flatulation. You're just vomiting out stuff without any purpose if it's all about you.
And to be really clear, Eric will tell you he is not against personal testimonies. He is not. But if you think that you're going to make your evangelistic argument based on testimony alone, you have gone to the wrong place.
Look, God can use Balaam's donkey. He can use whatever. But let's try to be sharp.
Yeah. How can an entire generation feel that a person coming to know Jesus is the best thing that could ever happen to them, and yet simultaneously feel it's wrong to share one's personal beliefs with someone of a different faith in hopes that they will one day share the same faith? Note the wording of sharing one's personal beliefs. For these millennials, if sharing my faith means sharing my feelings and experiences through personal testimony, then maybe it is wrong to share my faith with others in hopes of their salvation. Why? Because perhaps the person I'm witnessing to has had a different set of life experiences, feelings, and a relative story of their own. Thus, Christianity may be true for me because of my experiences, but perhaps it is not true for you because of yours. This is why millennials think evangelism is wrong. Ouch.
Some of them.
Some
Some of them, it's pure laziness. They might say this,
Yep.
but it's pure laziness. It's a lack of desire to disciple.
But
Because
I-
afterwards, what do you do? What do you do afterwards? You have to spend time with that person on this. It's a commitment.
But yeah, I think, he wrote this book a few years ago. But I think in the last, especially since Charlie Kirk's assassination, that there is a revival among.
Yes, there is.
And they are sharing their faith strongly,
People
Yep.
don't care anymore.
very strong.
It's good.
So one young man that I listened to the other day who's on a college campus, he said what he's finding is that young women are leaving the liberal movement because they do want to have children. They do want a structured family home. And they're being told that that is the wrong way to feel and that is a waste. And they want to embrace that, the old fashioned.
You only need to
Family.
spend 5 minutes in the intersectionality of wokeism to understand you should be ditching it. It's not possible.
Well, we've gotten to see a whole generation hit their 40s after having lived with this ideology. And the results are lonely people.
Yes,
Oh man,
They are.
and who's the ones that are lonely?
women.
It's
The
primarily
women.
the women. The dudes, if they're not Christians, I mean, they're in the prime of their life as far as being able to go pick up people and hookup culture. So you see a lot of lonely cat ladies and a lot of red pill men.
Yep.
Red pill meaning old 1950s chauvinist pigs.
Yep.
The actual problem on the male side. We like to talk about feminists. The chauvinistic pig men, they do exist.
We are going to stop right there. Next week we'll pick up from postmodernism in our Bible studies. Things that make you go, Any other questions? Where's it at tonight, Rye, the producer guy?
It's up to y'all. I'm not
That
eating,
voice.
so.
You're not eating.
No, he's just lingering in the space, so someone has to buy.
I had about 2,000 calories at 4:30, so.
What did you eat?
I got off of work at 4, so I took home some food, a grilled chicken sandwich, large mac and cheese, large fry, and then Dad bought some cookies from Walmart.